Oh, yep, I'm eating an apple. I just couldn't help myself. I was just thinking, this is an hour. I will need food. And I'm just doing my sound check, but first that, there's an ad. I'm watching an ad. Somebody's drinking from a straw. Oh, she's just vomited. What's this? Pre-teaser something. I don't want to buy it. She vomited. That's awful. Okay, I can understand your frustration if you saw that ad. Okay, this is my day off. And you know I'm definitely really relaxed if I'm eating an apple as a start off to a live stream like this. Okay. Alright, my apple's done. You will find the start time down there in the description somewhere. Sound check, we can pull that out. How's it going, Michael? Michael Sharp, hello! Now, once I finish my mouthful. Okay, alright. It's a warm day here. Let's get on with this Xanathar miniature, eh? Okay, right, yeah. Normally I do a presentation, answer questions near the end, chat along with me, grab your own miniatures, and just join in with me. My suggestion is you talk as much as you like. You can't shut me up, so you'll probably have to put up with me talking quite a lot. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I'm going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons while I try to prepare my Xanathar Beholder miniature. Very kindly, Gale Force 9 or Battlefront have sent me this miniature and I'm going to prepare it. It requires removing from the spruce and a lot of sort of tidy up and clean up, and I thought, well, I will do that live because why not? I do everything live, so I might as well have you guys hang out with me. Bring your own projects along. If you're going to do some painting or some assembly or some crafting, by all means, grab whatever you need, settle down. I'm going to be here for about an hour. After an hour, I will have lost my voice and probably will have lost a few pounds or kilos from sweat. So then I will probably need to stop at that point because you don't want to deal with me after that. Okay, so let's get on with the show, whatever show it is. Okay, so this is what I've got. My collection of bits and pieces that I'm going to have to tidy up. And for those of you who haven't seen my review, I do actually have a review that you can go and check out if you want. Hi Oscar, how's it going, man? It's been a while. I haven't seen you in my live chats for a long time. What's that, Michael? Good man, I have found out we run in similar circles. Okay, I go to King of Cards for Adventure League. All right, so you're dealing with Lawrence down at the King of Cards, and Karen. Karen usually works for Lawrence and is usually organising the games. So, yep, I can believe it. I haven't been into the city for a long time. I live in the Wops. Okay, where's my... Now, I'm using needle files. I have about 10 or 12 of these things. It's a 10-piece set. You can get them from anywhere. And I'm just going to start working my way through the collection of bits. I've got eyeballs and eye stalks to work through. And I'll start off with the very first one. Look, if I find myself in a situation where you see I'm off screen, or the sound is bad, or the video is bad, you need to let me know. Otherwise, I can't do anything about it. Not that I can probably do very much about sound or the video anyway. Once I've started, it's a little bit too late. Yep, right, yes, you're dealing with Karen. Yes, I know Karen. I've run a few games for Karen, been at some of her events. It's been a while since I've done that. So there is a little bit of flash, a little bit of mold line to deal with, which is why I'm here filing. So if you're showing up expecting painting today, no, this is filing. This is like an hour of me talking about Dungeons and Dragons and a variety of other things while you do your own projects, talking Dungeons and Dragons. And yes, that's the extent of it. It's really, really exciting footage. It's the sort of thing that people show up for all the time. No. Anyway, what's that? What's that, Michael? Yeah, I am a DM there. Ah, yes. I know I've got a friend who used to go there. That would be John. John used to go down there and play for a while. John Sheckle. And I haven't actually, John Sheckle, I haven't organised to do any videos with him for a long time, mainly because of his time schedule and my time schedule. Okay, so I'm going to have to file off the spruce connection around where the eye stalk joint is. What's your favourite class to play? What's my favourite class to play? Well, what's your favourite class, Michael? If you tell me what your favourite class is, I will tell you what my favourite class is, because I've actually answered that question many times, but you probably don't know. But if you tell me what your favourite class is, I will tell you what my favourite class is. I think that's a reasonable deal. Hi Darren, how's it going? Oh, I got some good news. Looks like I have a new job. Doesn't look like I'm going to have to work at Mitre 10 for much longer. Oh dear. I don't want to count my chickens too much, but I'm told that the contract is coming my way, and I've finalised the resignation date with Mitre 10, and they're not going to penalise me, which is what I thought was going to happen. And it was going to be brutal if it was a penalty, but that's not going to happen, so that's all good news. I will be able to escape my job. What's that, Darren? Hi Fred, I'm just done airbrush priming the resin 3D printed minis. I'll post pics when they dry. Okay, cool. Yes, I'm interested. Is this the stuff that you have printed yourself, or is it the stuff from the My Mini Factory? I mean, that's just the plans, but I know you were doing a test run to see what how they would hold paint, because I was having trouble with some of the high resin miniatures that they sent me, that sort of clearish looking plastic, and the paint was not sticking well. I had primed them, I put paint on them, and it got all powdery. It was doing something that I have not seen Vallejo paints do on those miniatures, which is kind of weird. I don't know why it did that. It is awesome news, Darren. I'm so pleased that I am going to be able to go back to being well, it's going to be a building and construction tutor. So I'm really hoping that everything works out. I've got some cool ideas, but I'll have to just run whatever they've got until they feel comfortable with me changing things. I'm the sort of person who is a little bit on the, the cutting edge, or a bit out of the ordinary in terms of how I do things. As you've noticed from my channel, it permeates my entire life. Okay, what do we got here, Michael? You've got, you like the Sorcerer, specifically Divine Soul. Okay, so my favourite class is related to the fact that I was involved in the martial arts many years ago. I love monks. I like to play the monk, and if I'm not playing a monk, it'll be a wizard, somebody who casts spells. I am currently exploring my avenues and playing a multi-classed Paladin Sorcerer. So I've got 2 levels in Paladin and about 5 levels in Sorcerer, and I've taken Wild Magic and managed to convince my Dungeon Master and group to allow me to roll on the Wild Magic Surge chart every single time I cast a level 1 upward spell. So there's a lot of Magic Wild Surges going on. It's been hilarious. They want me to explain to you the process, but I want to test it more before, considering the sorts of things that have been taking place. The Dungeon Master has been sort of beside himself with laughter sometimes, and some of the other players have been it's been hilarious. It's either turned me into a useless character who's caused untold strife for the party, or saved the day. I've had a couple of times where we were sure we were done for, and a Wild Magic Surge has showed up that has saved our bacon. Yeah, thank you, Darren, by the way. Darren, I printed these ones myself. Right, okay. What sort of resin or plastic are you using? Are you using something that's high-end product, material, or is it a lower-end product? I can't imagine you using a lower end product. I know you're pretty fussy about how things are done, Darren, so I can't imagine it's low end, unless of course it's just test out the printer and see how it's working. Oh, now there's a little bit of mold. It's not like a seam, it's like blobs on the inside of this eye stalk. If anybody's wondering, what the heck are you doing with that file, Fred? I'm trying to knock off the little blemish. It's like a resin pimple. And okay, I think I got it. It's looking good. I'll grab myself a cloth. I could of course just wipe it off with the sweat on my hand, but I won't. Yeah. What's that, Oscar? I try to check in whenever I can. I'm Swedish, so the time is 1:30 AM. Oh my god, Oscar. But sometimes I just can't resist watching your streams. Oscar, mate, oh, that's terrible. You should go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. You've had a chat with me. If there's anything you want to ask, the time is now. Okay? So if you've got to ask a question or want to say something to me, do it now and then go back to sleep. You can hang out with us by all means, but I feel really bad if you're up at 1:30 AM. That's a horrible time of the day. I couldn't do it. Joan, what's this? I am making a flail with flexible chain for a orc dire wolf rider. Ooh, that sounds good. I like it. All right, where's my next victim? I mean miniature piece. I'm just going to cut this free, and we'll get back to what we were doing. So that's only taken me about almost 10 minutes to do one eye stalk. Let's cut a few eye stalks off here. Let's just cut all these eye stalks off, and put some of my shrapnel over there. I should have brought myself a shrapnel box. There we go. Alright, so we've got a couple of things to work with now, and we'll just grab one of these and just work away. What's that, Darren? I'm just using the printer manufacturer's resin. It's UV curable. Ooh, that sounds interesting. UV curable. Look, I'm in New Zealand. We have UV all the time. We have a great huge hole above us that threatens to give everybody cancer. Dear. Yeah, later on in life I'll be able to actually classify myself in the Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual as a legitimate monster, just from the damage to my skin. Whoa. I know you can use things like sunscreen, but you'd be surprised how little sunscreen is effective in New Zealand. You really need to have a high-end, high product. You can't muck around. You've got to use zinc or titanium oxide to actually keep it out. Otherwise, it's goodbye to your face and your head and anything else. And yes, we can then add Fred to the monster menagerie of creatures in the Monster Manual for Dungeons and Dragons. So if I'm still doing this sort of thing, these videos, years from now, just remember this time. This was the beginning of the monster. I've just been working on notes for Tomlin Stonehill, who is the owner of the inn in Lost Mine of Phandelver. For those of you who have been enjoying the Dungeon Master Guide for the Lost Mine of Phandelver, I am working on him. Most of the notes are done. I'm going to sort of let it percolate in my brain for a little while, so I make sure I cover all of the bases. But you'll be pleased to know that I am reasonably well organised. I've got most of my images all ready to go, and my notes are done. For those of you who have been watching my monk videos, particularly the monk tutorial, I am going to apologise. I didn't realise there was an error in the pre-made character sheet from Wizards of the Coast's Dungeons and Dragons website. The dexterity modifier for it is supposed to actually read Well, it reads 17, so the dexterity score is 17, the modifier is 3, but it's supposed to read a dexterity score of 18 and a dexterity modifier of +4, because the attack modifier for the monk unarmed strike is a +4. So there's a bit of a bollock up there, and so it's been confusing a few people. So I will be doing a monk unarmed strike, specifically only that topic, nothing else, specific video on that topic, just to help clear things up. I had thought about taking down the monk tutorial, but actually there's nothing actually wrong with what I say or the video. It's the problem is that one little bit of information in the character sheet, and I can't fix it, so I'm just going to add to it, simply because there just isn't enough videos out there on the monk anyway. I mean, we've got videos on, you know, what's the best feats and what race you should take to make a, you know, play a really good monk. We've got what races, classes, which archetype is the best one or the worst one, or blah 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 blah. You know what I'm talking about. It's just I have been working my way through the desire to do another video. I was going to do one on the worst D&D party, since that seems to be a topic that is very popular with people. Be warned, it will not be educational. It is supposed to be completely in jest, and will probably be taking the mickey out of the current desire by YouTube channels to put the words worst and best in every title, because the YouTube God loves it so much. Ha 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 ha. But yes, I couldn't do it and take it seriously myself, so yeah, I will release that when I am ready, and I'm going to wait until I'm in a really good mood, probably when I'm no longer working for Mighty 10, and I'll release that, and you guys can give me feedback on that, or just laugh along with me would be a good start. What's that, Oscar? Okay, I'm taking your advice. Good night, everyone. See you later, man. It's a good idea. Go get some sleep. La da 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 da, ya da dee. It's actually quite difficult to get into all the little spaces. When you would think that getting in and filing all these little bits on a bit of resin would be easy, but it's actually, I would say, at the rate I'm going, and I'm going slow because trying to be careful and I'm talking at the same time, so that's not really helpful. I would say this is going to take a couple of hours, maybe 2-3 hours to clean everything up properly. That's a lot of prep time for a miniature. I mean, it's a high-end miniature. Let's get real. It's not exactly your $1 or $2 or $3 miniature. It's a resin miniature. It's high-end. It's a collector's series, so it's going to take a bit of time to put together and clean up. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised at just how much work I'm going to have to do. Anyway, never mind. What was the other thing? Now, for those of you who have been hanging out for the Bard, and me doing Bard videos, yes, the Bard videos are coming. I'm probably going to do Song of Rest next. Oh, there's a little... Yeah, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Yeah, right. Okay. Got him. It's all right. Disaster has been averted. Someone was trying to get into the room that I didn't want to get into the room. Okay. It's called a moth. We don't want the moths taking the limelight. Yeah. Just carefully. The good thing about resin is it files off really nicely, whereas, you know, plastic, it doesn't quite clean away the way you would hope. You'd think that, okay, it's a bit of plastic, I can just file it there, but those softer plastics don't file very nicely, and you wind up with bits of plastic that you've filed away, but they haven't actually come away from the miniature, and then you've got to get a knife out and muck around. I think that's kind of a pain. And what was the other thing I was working on? I've been really tempted to show you guys my Dungeons and Dragons critical damage variant rule. I should have done it ages ago. It wouldn't have taken very much. I mean, it could be a very short video. Wouldn't take long at all. And I'll just demonstrate it, and you guys can decide if you want to use it or not. The great thing about it is you don't need to actually change the core rules. The core rules stay exactly the same. I think that's one of the benefits. You know, if you have a variant rule that you use in your game, if it's just sitting alongside your core rules, then it's a rule that essentially the players would choose whether they decide to adopt it or not, given their situation and how they view their chances of rolling. I'll explain more about it later anyway. Okay, so that's, whew, let's see. Okay, so I need a different tool for that. That's going to actually be more difficult than I thought. We use the half round. Let's see if I can't clean that up. There we go. Never got it there. I would imagine that this is going to be not a popular video to watch. Filing a piece of resin, not a super exciting topic. Completely understand. But if you're after the miniature itself, you can check it out. I've got a link in the description so you can find it. And I believe it is now available on Amazon, so you can purchase it from Amazon. And I put in an affiliate link down below. But you can also get it from Gale Force 9's official website. And this is going to be the interesting bit, is making sure that all the bits, once I've filed them, actually fit together. Oh yeah, absolutely going to be a lot of fun. I can see it now. Okay, right, so where's my head? Should have a head. I feel like I'm missing a head. Why am I missing a head? There should be a head in my box. No, have I lost the head? Where's the head gone? I was just realizing there's supposed to be a head in there, and yet I don't see a head. I know what it is. Don't panic. I finally realized what I've done. I've left it in the other part of the box. That's why it's not here. Okay, yep, there it is. Found it. Okay, good lord. I was panicking for no reason. I was like, oh my god, I can't possibly have misplaced the most important part. The body's, the heady bit is gone. What do I do? No, it's all fine. Panic is over. Let's just wipe all the dust off a little bit and push it over here, I guess. And where's my tools? What have we got here? We've got some sort of something going on here. Not great. What's that, Darren? I'm cleaning my airbrush, so I'm hardly doing anything exciting either. Yes, well, you bet you've got to do it, eh? It's one of those things. You have to clean the airbrush. If you don't, it's all over for the airbrush. I know my brother is very, very careful about the use of his airbrush. It's not cheap, and he knows that it jams up and gets full of gunk very, very easily. So he's always making sure to clean it properly. I wish I could actually show you some of my brother's stuff, but I've tried really hard to get him to put stuff up on the internet. He sends me pictures every once in a while. He's currently working on cars. He's got a thing for cars, so model cars are his particular favourite right now. I am still a Dungeons and Dragons monster kind of guy, so it's going to be miniatures for me. Miniature monsters. And I don't know if I've mentioned it too. They've got what looks to be a really cool release, a product coming out. Wizards of the Coast is re-releasing some of their coloured tactical poster maps. Now, if you've watched some of my videos, I often use poster maps, or had used poster maps till they got flogged. But I do have some vinyl mats still left over, and they are re-releasing them. There's going to be, it's called the Dungeons and Dragons Tactical Maps Reincarnated. And I think I put something up in the community tab of the channel, so you can check it out. Draven Swiftbow has done a review on the product already, but I will do a review myself once I get hold of it. I'm just in the process of trying to source it, and I think you can pre-order it on Amazon, but yeah, maybe hold out until you've seen a review and decided whether it's worthwhile. I know I love pre-printed maps because it means I don't have to draw anything. I'm a lazy person, okay? No, I'm not really a lazy person. I just don't want to have to draw up maps before the session or during the session unless I absolutely have to. And pre-printed maps, particularly if they're locations that are reusable. So one of the maps that is included is the King's Road. Now, you've probably seen that map. I use that map heaps. It's just basically a stretch of road, nothing else. Okay, and yep. And then there's, I believe, the Dwarf Stone Bridge. There's a whole bunch of maps from the Shattered Keeps map pack that they put out years ago, and the Vault of the Underdark. I believe that so they're all sort of Underdarky like maps. There's some towns. Some that are ruined, some that are not. So kind of cool if you ask me. And I believe there's a couple of dragon lairs for, I think it's what looks like a fire dragon. There's a lot of sort of magma. There's one for an ice dragon, I understand. A lot of this is taken from the maps that were produced for Dungeons and Dragons 4E and 3.5 or version 3, for those of you who are wondering where they sourced these from. So some maps from the Red Hand of Doom are included there. So if you remember the Red Hand of Doom, there are some maps that come from that particular adventure. I remember the Red Hand of Doom started so well, and then it all just turned to custard. And I don't think we recovered after we'd been to the swamp. Yes, there was no recovery after that. It just was disaster after disaster. Okay, so I'm just trying to file away as best I can the molds that are down the side of this thing. Now you can use a knife, but I'm tempted not to use a knife because I feel like I will wind up either cutting myself or take off too much material. And I can take off a lot less material with a file. That's not to say that I wouldn't use a knife, because I would, but not in this situation. Okay. Come on, you. Come out of there. Alright, just gonna... Hang on, guys. I just need to clean away some of the dust off my hands. Oh, she's a warm day. So I hope some of you have got your own projects going, whether they be painting or crafting or just preparing a miniature. I like the idea that I'm running a channel where you get to hang out with somebody and just do the hobby. And this has always been part of the hobby. I mean, it's not for everybody. You don't have to be good at it to enjoy it. I know I leave this part of my channel to this day because it's the one day that I can finally relax. I've done all my housework, I've prepped everything for the week, and I can just finally just let it all go. I don't know if anybody has been keeping track of some of the new YouTube channels. There's a guy called the DM Lair, and he's quite funny. I mean, I'm not going to say all of his videos are gold, but they're high quality. He does a good job of them, and he's also started painting miniatures live. I think his live stream, the last one I saw, was like 2.5 hours, I'm sure he'll figure out a good time frame for himself. I feel like after 2.5 hours of live streaming, it's a bit more than I can cope with. I need my privacy at some point. Okay, so there's definitely flash around the connectors where the eye stalks will be going, so I'm just cleaning that off. And it's actually going to be a bit more difficult than I had thought. Okay, so how do I deal with you? I'm just going to go that way. Can't take too much off because I still need it to fit. It's not to mention that I can also use filler and putty later if I absolutely need to. Alright, I'm just using a cloth to get rid of the dust so I can see what's going on. And oh, there's a big huge bit of resin right there. I'm just going to see if I can file that out. Of course, you shouldn't be pointing the sharp bit at your finger like I was. To the side, to the side. La da 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 dee. La da 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 dee. Okay. For those of you who are still waiting for the edited versions for some of my live streams, they will be coming. I've noticed that YouTube's a little bit slower in processing those, so I actually have to wait now. It's fine. They just take a little bit longer, that's all. Should still be within about a week or two before, you know, when they get released, the edited versions. Some of them seem to get processed faster. I noticed that the longer ones struggle to get processed and the shorter ones are fine. I was reading up on the homunculus, which is a really interesting monster in that it's not the sort of monster you really fight. It's the type of monster that if you come across, it's given itself away, right? Homunculus. This is a little construct that wizards use to sort of spy and do little chores and so forth. And if it gets discovered, I think the most sensible thing for a homunculus to do is to actually flee or run away. Exactly like how it might perform. You know, there was a movie called, is it The Golden Voyages of Sinbad? I think it's The Golden Voyages of Sinbad. And there's a dark wizard who has a homunculus, and it gets cornered and it tries to flee, and I think that's the most sensible thing. I don't think that it would actually attack or be a real combat sort of monster. I don't think it's a combat monster. I think it's actually there and designed to be anything but that. I really want to do a video on that, just so I can talk about it a bit more, but it'll wait for now. Give me some time, I'll get there eventually. You'd be surprised the number of videos I do. Sometimes I struggle getting all the information together quickly enough. Alright, where's the little curve one? Okay, let's not get too carried away. Am I worried about that little bit there? No. We're going to call it an imperfection of his skin. And then the flat one. Oh, man, it is such a warm day. It's a cooker. Makes it worse if you you close the door on your office though, and the windows. Which is what I've done, just to reduce the amount of ambient noise that's coming from outside. Otherwise, all you would hear are cicadas going chirpy chirpy chirp 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 chirp. That's fine if you don't mind cicadas, but yeah, I don't really want it all over the sound on the video if I can help it. Do 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 do. Okay, all right. So the body is going to be a bit of a mission actually. It's actually really hard to get at there without damaging the details. So we're just going to just file in here. Maybe I'll need to use a knife. What's that, Darren? It's in the -30s here in Canada. Okay. So your point is, Fred, you've got hot weather and we've got really cold weather. So yes, yeah, I think the hot weather, yeah, I prefer the hot weather to the cold weather. At least I don't get sick so much in the hot weather compared to the cold weather. I know somebody was, I can't count the number of people who have said, oh, you know, the weather, you know, being cold and wet has no bearing on whether you get sick. And I was like, yeah, where are you working? In an office all day that's got air conditioning and heating or something, because you don't know what you're talking about. So I do feel for you if you are in the cold. It's not pleasant, I'm sure. 30 degrees. Ugh. Negative 30 degrees. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, so we're working our way through here. It's looking a lot better than it was. And I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to clean up those seams along there. There we go. This is the thing, as you're filing this stuff off, you still got to clean it off with a cloth just to see what's going on. Everything is just sticking. It's either sticking to me or it's sticking to the miniature. There we go, got it. So yeah, if you guys have got questions about Dungeons and Dragons, whether you are a player or a dungeon master, I am happy to respond. Always happy to chat along. And we're supposed to be doing a Dungeon Master Q&A this month sometime. Can't be too far off. I would imagine it will be what? Where would it be? Where would it be? Probably near the end of the month. I'll do Tomlin Stonehill as my Dungeon Master guide for Phandelver, and then I'll follow up with, I will do the Dungeon Master Q&A for the month after that on my weekend. On my weekend. This means I get to take time off from work, which means I get to actually go and do other things. Rest. I don't know what I'll do with myself. Yes, I do. I'm going to go tramping. I'm going to go kayaking. I'm going to go swimming. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. All of those. All the above. Can't wait. So my final day of work is supposed to be the 16th of February this year. Of course, New Zealand Daylight Time, and I am so happy. Okay, so for those of you who are wondering, what the heck is this? This is the big body bit. I'm getting there though. It's coming along nicely. Just a little bit of work required, and we'll just move all that dust out of the way and then continue on. Alright, so since my eyes aren't very good, I need to just check things over a couple of times and shift it around so I can see what's happened. And there is a few, there's a little bit of a line in there. I don't know if I can get at it without making a mess, but I'm still going to try. Yeah, that's it. Come on. Give it to me. There we go. Ah, dear. Yeah, this bit here is really difficult. I think it's going to be definitely, I feel like the body in terms of cleanup is the hardest bit in terms of making everything look sort of right. I've definitely filed away some of the details in the process of doing that. There's no other choice. There's no other way to get at it. Is that good enough? Is that good enough? I really want to do a decent job with this, so just give me a second. I'm going to scrape that little sucker out of there. Ah! Gotcha! Has anybody seen the movie Glass? I enjoyed the first movie, Unbreakable. I haven't watched Split, but Glass, you know, when I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's not what you expect. It really isn't. Can I say it's a movie you will enjoy? I don't know, but it certainly had me thinking really, really hard about all sorts of things. And yeah, I started to realize that it was hitting really, really home on the sort of the reality of, you know, what happens if there are superheroes in the real world. What would actually take place? And I you know, it's still a movie, it's still fictional and all the rest, but yeah, it was certainly, it sort of highlighted some of the realities of that. I thought that was very clever on his part. Okay, well, I feel like the body is pretty good at this point. I don't think there's anything else I need to worry or concern myself with, which is good. Darren, Glass is on my list. Yeah, man, I can't say that it is a movie that is a feel-good movie. It is a very different kettle of fish. It is unlike watching a DC superhero movie or a Marvel superhero movie. It is right out there on the edge, and it might be very hard for a lot of people to understand all the themes and messages within it. So if you're thinking you're getting a movie which is going to be easy to understand, unlikely. I really love movies. It's one of my passions. It's not just Dungeons and Dragons, but I really, really love movies. I've got like my whole lounge is just full of these things. I've got movie upon movie upon movie, and I re-watch a lot of movies more than a few times. But it's definitely out there. What else did I want to go and see? I wanted to go and see that new Spider-Man movie, but problem is that they never leave anything in New Zealand running long enough to actually go and see it before suddenly it's gone. The turnover is so quick. You know, you used to be able to count on the movie running for like a month or longer. Nowadays it's like, no, 2 weeks, she's gone. No, if you want to go to it, you've got to go at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Who wants to go to a movie at 9 p.m? I'm going to fall asleep. So yes, and what else am I hanging out for? I'm looking forward to the new Avengers movie. I'm certainly interested in what happens with this Captain Marvel movie. Hard to know what to think about, because you keep hearing, oh, they're going to make a movie on this topic, and they never seem to come through. There's been a lot of sort of, oh yes, we were making a movie on you know, another Conan movie. We haven't seen that yet. I kind of would like to see Arnold Schwarzenegger as an older Conan, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. Not before he winds up gone, passed away. And he's not a spring chicken anymore. So the opportunity won't last forever. They've got to get their act together. Get moving. And he hasn't been well too, right? I don't really feel that anybody else can do one of those movies successfully. I know they tried, but it didn't really come off. Aquaman? I liked Aquaman. I thought that was a good movie. I enjoyed that. I'm still unsure as to whether I should go and see or pick up the movie at some time. How to Train My Dragon. Is it 3? Number 3? God, there's 3 of them now. Oh, blimey. Starting to feel a little bit like Shrek. After they'd done like three movies of that, it was like, yeah, I think we've actually gone as far as we need to with this one. But because they make so much money, they keep making more, or certainly try to. And there. Do 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 do. La da 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 da. I don't know, I don't know if there's actually that many movies that sort of are supposed to stand out for 2019 that are coming that aren't superhero movies. They all seem to be like superhero movies nowadays. You know, you're going to make a movie, it's got to be a superhero movie. So I kind of feel like that's a bit of a shame. Dear Jesus, cult movies like Conan are going to be hard to remake. Yeah, well, I wouldn't think they should be, but apparently in this climate it is. And I don't even know what to say about Star Wars. You know, I don't actually mind the Rey character that much. I mean, a lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I don't actually mind the Finn character or the Rey character from the new Star Wars. I don't actually mind the villain. The only thing, and I think I've said it before, that I still am upset by is I never got to see Han Solo, Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker all together in the same scene. It just felt weird, and I thought that was the whole point of getting them all back together in the first place, was to have a final sort of, I mean, we all knew the characters were going to die, that they were going to move on in some way, but it just feels weird how they've done it. Harryhausen movies like Sinbad and Jason and the Argonauts are classics. Yes, absolutely. I've got those. I rewatched them. I've even got the Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, which, to be fair, out of the Golden Voyages and Sinbad and the Seven Seas, is not a great one in comparison. The original, the Clash of the Titans, not the new one. No, not that I don't really mind the new one that much. It's just it's like it didn't make an awful lot of sense at times. I think that was just because they just didn't have time to actually link everything up. But they had a lot of sort of scenes of them travelling, so I don't understand why they couldn't have cut scenes of travelling on big huge scorpions out and stuck in, like, how is it that Perseus is able to have a black Pegasus that flies show up at just the right moment? Oh, Zeus put in a call. Dial a god, 0800 dial a god. You need a magic weapon, even though I don't really like you, and you know, you haven't been praying to me, but I'm still going to give you something. And I'm very confused by that whole Clash of the Titans. Wrath of the Titans was even more confusing. But I like those sorts of movies. I just wish they made them in a way that made sense and wasn't so hokey and cheesy and stupid. What's that? Dear Jesus, I love the theme for Clash of the Titans original. Fair enough, I understand that. Joe, another filling video, haha. Cleaning mold lines, the fun part of miniatures. Laugh out loud. This is why, Joe, I have so many people watching me right now. It's the really fun bit, you know, where you spend like hours just filing mold lines off. I'm probably not going to do a repeat mold line video. I will probably just spend a bit of time doing it in my own time while I watch Matthew Colville and his group playing Dungeons and Dragons. Holy Toledo! You know, it was interesting. There was such a hue and a cry about his first session that he ran. Matthew Colville and his group. You know, it's like, you've broken all the rules. You've said, and I was like, okay, all right, yeah. They're not beginner players and dungeon masters. They are experienced people, and he is playing a very complicated campaign. And if it hadn't been obvious by now, he does all sorts of things that don't necessarily fall into into the rules that he talks about, or the things you should do or don't do, or whatever. He breaks those all the time, which I think is actually a good idea, to be fair. I think you should always try something at least twice before you decide to ditch it. It's very hard to make something fresh and new if you, as a dungeon master, you don't try something new. And sometimes you have to take risks. That is my message for today. Take a few risks. I don't mean destroy your friendships or anything, or have your game go off the rails. Although I don't think that's actually such a bad thing to have happen. Sometimes that's fine. Sometimes the adventure you're running is really destined for derailment, and whether the players do it or the dungeon master does it is really sort of beside the point. Okay, let's just. My eyes aren't very good, guys, so sometimes I have to sort of put things down, have a really good hard look. If there's not enough light on the area, I can turn lamps on. That will just cook me faster, but that's fine. I'm willing to sacrifice myself. But if you can't see, you just let me know. It's just a bit hard to give you really clear image, I guess, when you're looking at something that is not painted and is all the same colour. What's that, dear Jesus? Has you tried a mold line remover knife? It's pricey but a lot easier than a hobby knife. No, I haven't. I don't usually use my hobby knife much anymore for removing mold lines. I tend to stick with a file. I know you can get them. It's like it's more like a mold line scraper, isn't it? And I mean, usually when I'm using my knife, I will scrape rather than cut. But yeah, hence I know I haven't picked one up. I've been on a very light income for about just over a year, so it's been a bit hard to sort of buy all the things I would like to. I'm hoping that will change. I'm hoping my income will booster and I will be able to go back to living a little bit more the life that I used to live, because it's been a long time. What's that, Joe? I'm at work. I have worked a ton of overtime this month and last, and can't wait to show the finish build on my Yawning Portal build. I'm so happy with it so far. Okay, Joe, I know you're on my Facebook group, so I definitely want to see it. I definitely want to see it. You know, I have been contemplated asking people to just shoot a short video on some of the things they've done, so that I can cut it together and just stick it on the channel to show people, because I know not everybody likes Facebook. And that would be quite cool. Cool for me, because then I don't have to do a video, and hopefully cool for you, because you get to sort of show off your stuff with the rest of the YouTube community. If you're ever up for that, Joe, you just let me know and just send me the file via my email. What's that, Darren? I does look good, Joe. It does look good, Joe. Yes. Well, I've seen part of it so far. It looked pretty good to me on Facebook. The finished result should be spectacular. Spectacular. La da da dee. Okay. Right, so this is going to be more difficult. So why is that? That's because the seam is in a really weird location. Super strange. Here we go. Gotcha. What's this? I turned a plastic Fortnite chess into a mimic dice box. Ooh, I'm not sure what that's all about. I know that's not part of the live stream, guys, but I saw it pop up on my notifications and I couldn't help but read it. Sounds really interesting actually now. I'll have to go and check it out later. Not just yet, but later. La da da dee. La dee doo. So how many eye stalks have I got left to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 after this, and a mouth and a base. Oh, it's a day of it. It's definitely going to be a day of it, but we're not going to be here for a day. No, not doing that. It's just too much. Not to mention, I will melt. You can come in and say, Fred, where are you? And I will be a little puddle on the floor. I will have taken on the attribute of the black pudding, or the orca jelly, or the grey ooze. I am I've got like a whole bunch of Pathfinder miniatures that I really want to turn into Dungeons and Dragons monsters, and I'm really tempted to use D&D Beyond to help me build them, and of course the Dungeon Master's Guide, but just thought it would be nice to be able to have a kind of an official looking stat block that's all sort of pretty, and I'm not too sure if people would be interested in watching me build it on D&D Beyond, but yeah, if people are, you'll let me know. And if maybe, what do I put it up a poll. That's the good idea, right? People seem to respond to the polls I put up on the community tab. I have to say that community tab has been awesome. It is a great feature. It's really made it easy for me to ask questions and get feedback. Not all the feedback from the polls I've found has been accurate, you know, but it has helped me sort of understand at least those people who are interested in responding, where their head's at, you know, what they're after. It certainly shaped the class guide that I was doing. We're definitely going to be working mostly on the bard, and then the druid, and then we'll go to the other classes later. I haven't forgotten about the paladin and the monk. Problem is I shot a lot of those videos as pre-recorded videos, and I just haven't had time to edit them, which is why you haven't seen them. So if you're wondering, Fred, didn't you say you're going to release the paladin videos? There's a series of them, and isn't there supposed to be a monk series as well? And yeah, there is. It just takes like hours to edit them down, even those really short ones. You think, oh Fred, it's only 3 minutes, but trust me, it's a lot more than 3 minutes of chopping things down. Because usually what you do is you talk things out and you say the same sentence over and over again until you get it pronounced right. And I balls it up constantly. I mean, I make errors in terms of how I pronounce or say things on my live streams, but much worse if I'm on my own and pre-recording. I have to do it multiple times. Oh, how's it going? The cart of videos. I play D&D at school with my friends and English teacher. I'm the one who supplies the minis, terrain and dice. Well, that's nice of you. How are you finding? What are you playing currently, by the way? Are you playing The Lost Mine of Phandelver, or are you playing something else? I'd be interested to know if you feel like sharing, that is. You don't have to. You're allowed your own privacy. There we go. And my eye stalk is coming along. Yep, I feel like the full round, the half round, and the flat file are definitely the tools right now. Lost Mine of Phandelver. Okay, cool. How are you finding it? Are you enjoying the adventure? Are you enjoying playing the game? Or are there things that you feel like they, you know, don't quite work for you? Truthfully, I am interested. You don't have to give a bad rap to anybody. You don't have to do it like that. But I'm just interested if you are enjoying yourself. I think it's great if people are enjoying playing that face-to-face game of Dungeons and Dragons over playing video games. I think that's a really good development. Particularly if they're playing a game that doesn't involve crushing their enemy. Oh, we just started. Okay, I see. Dear Jesus, sorry this is a little off topic. No, you can be off topic. I said this is just my hangout day. I'm doing some filing. You can talk about anything you like. Off topic, but does anyone know if Glassstaff from Lost Mine of Phandelver has a stat sheet? My group yesterday are one room away from him. Yes, yes, he does. He does have a stat sheet. I can't really pull it up right now, but there is definitely one. It's in the back of the adventure, because you do have to actually battle him eventually. I believe he is statted out as being I believe it's just a mage with a few alterations. Hang on, give me a second. I will stop briefly to answer your question. So while I'm flipping through my adventure, you can see the eye stalkers moving around. So where is it? Yeah, he's statted out as being the evil mage. So that's the stat block for him. So if you just look in the back of the adventure, you'll find evil mage, and that's what Glassstaff's stat block is. Okay, that answers your question, I think. Certainly hope it does. All right, back to filing the miniature. The filing of the miniature. Yo, 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 yo. Is that all right, dear Jesus? Did that answer your question? Oh, that's a sharp bit of... Oh, some sharp bits there. I'll be careful I don't cut myself. Okay, so, slight warning. It is possible to cut yourself on this stuff, so be careful. I'm holding it in such a way that I feel like I'm definitely going to hurt myself. It would be a bit more exciting than filing, eh? You are awesome, thank you. Hey, that's an easy question to answer. It's not. It's actually in the adventure, so wasn't hard. You're welcome, not a problem. We'll get around to talking about glass stuff at some point. I just haven't done it yet. Glass stuff, to be fair, I feel like glass stuff is a throwaway NPC. Could be any evil mage, really. And because of the layout of the adventure and how it's structured, the chances are he's not going to last 5 seconds. It certainly didn't last very long in my adventure. It was all over very quickly. Okay, and we're getting close to wrapping up time. I'm going to try to stay to about an hour of filing. I know it's exciting stuff watching. The opportunity to watch me file a miniature. Gotta be some of the best footage you've ever seen. What's that, Joe? I actually had my group find Glassstaff's getaway stash in the fountain. So when he escaped, his staff was gone. Oh, by the way, spoilers for The Lost Mine of Phandelver, for those of you who are unaware. We are definitely talking about spoilery stuff. So if you're playing in the game, and I think somebody is, so we need to be a little bit careful about what we say. Otherwise, Cart of Videos is going to wind up finding out too much information. We don't want to ruin it for him. Yeah, here's the problem. Here's the problem when we start talking about stuff. We've got to be careful about. So yeah, Cart of Videos, just be careful about looking in the chat box and listening to what we're saying right now, because we are definitely talking about spoilery stuff. It's all right, dear Jesus. It can be forgiven. It can be forgiven. There are very few things that can't be forgiven. This is certainly not one of those things that can't be forgiven for. You can use your master of playing, the game, and your skill at not metagaming to just forget that information. Dear. Yeah, it's just one of those things, eh? It's kind of weird, because I had assumed that it would be exciting and climactic, and it was like, puh. I honestly don't know that it's going to make the slightest difference, because your English teacher or whoever the dungeon master is contending with a whole lot of other brains, all thinking at the same time, and they will figure it out. It's not rocket science. Okay, now I feel like that there just needs a little bit of tidy up. Okay, all right, good. Okay, so that's just, where's my cloth? So that's one body, 2 eye stalks. I've got 6 more eye stalks, a mouth, and a base and some other bits to do, which I will, but I will probably go and have some food. Lunch sounds nice, and also opening some windows sounds like a really good idea. There we go. Alright. Oh, by the way, I have no intentions of editing down this video. This is not one of those videos you edit down. This is just me hanging out. Okay, alright. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end it there for today and go and do something else. So, hey, look, if you enjoyed hanging out with me, awesome. Thank you very much. You can share and like the video if you like. Subscribe if you like the idea of hanging out with me once a week. I do this about once a week where I either I'm doing some crafting, sometimes I make miniatures, sometimes I'm painting, sometimes I'm filing miniatures, as I was today. So you're welcome to subscribe, hit the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos. If you want to support me, then doing videos, then doing so by watching this has helped support me. I have hundreds more videos you can go and watch, not all of them about filing miniatures, some of them about painting and other things, so you're welcome to go and check them out. I don't plan to do Patreon for 2019, but I do have Amazon and Book Depository affiliate marketing links down below where you can buy stuff online. I get a small commission, you pay exactly the same price. And if you have any feedback for me, by all means you can throw that into the chat real quick before I leave. Otherwise, that's what the comment section's all about. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Oh, yep, Darren, totally understand. Don't open the window, man. It's 30 degrees below, right? Negative 30. No opening the windows. And hey, thank you. Yes, I am so pleased. I finally have myself a new job, something I will actually enjoy doing. And I have every intentions of doing the best job I can for them. Okay, I'll see you later.